Alright, welcome back to another episode of Japan versus the World, and this is taking a turn for the not so great. We've got a very massive amount of forces that are going to start heading in from Karelia and West Russia, so we've got to do what we can to help fortify and keep them out. So, switching up the regular tactic, we're going to dump a crap ton of infantry into Moscow for sheer numbers. We're then going to put out 2 tanks, 3 tanks actually, and a fighter from this factory. Then we'll go ahead and grab a bomber and 2 artillery. And that's going to be the end of our run here for purchasing, at the very least. Alright, I really wish there was more that I could do here, but I just don't have enough numbers to throw in and sacrifice here in West Russia. So we're gonna try and create a diversion by blitzing through Ukraine SSR and then offloading a couple of troops from our transports here to Bulgaria, Romania. That will also allow us to use our cruiser and battleships in the part of an amphibious assault, flying in a bunch of planes. We're going to make a bombing raid on the IPC factory here in Berlin to help stunt the US's growth and expansion there. We'll fly in 1 extra bomber from India to come help out in Bulgaria, Romania. And that's all we're going to really be able to feasibly do on a combat move, but we're going to hunker down as best we can in Moscow on our next turn. So let's go ahead and run this air raid and hopefully not take any casualties in it. Now they've got 5 defenses out of 1, and they've got 1. So I suppose that's better than nothing. Alright, so let's roll these 4 damage dice. We've got guaranteed hits on these, so it's just a matter of dealing as much damage as we can to that factory, which 15 is a decent amount. That's 15 units that the US will have to use elsewhere. So it's a trade. It's not a trade I'm happy about, but it is indeed a trade. Alright, so let's go ahead and get some attacks in here from our naval fleet. Nothing from the cruiser. Hopefully something from... Nope, nothing from the... Nothing from the battleship, and that's unfortunate. So it's hopefully still nothing there. We should easily get the hits that we need out of this crew. If not, they're all fired. Yeah, that's good. So now we've got some hits coming back across, and it looks like it's just going to be 1, so we'll take that on the infantry, because that's the wise thing. That allows us the capture of Bulgaria, which forces us closer to Berlin and the liberation thereof, though admittedly not by much. So I unfortunately can't fly my fighters back to hunker down in Russia, so we are going to fly them all back to Caucasus. We're going to fly this bomber back to Caucasus, and these guys are also going to come back to Caucasus. So that's going to be all we do there. Here we're going to move 3 of our infantry down into Moscow. We're going to move you up to Caucasus. We're going to move you into Berlin, or not Berlin, Moscow. That's all of the movements that I can make troop-wise at this time. So let's go ahead and hunker down. And then when it comes to mobilizing troops, we're sticking all of these guys here, all of these guys here, one of these guys here, and then our infantry, or our artillery, I should say, and my bomber are going to have to come out of the factory in India. So that's going to do it for this turn, and we netted an overall loss in our IPC, but we're striking in places that I don't think they would have expected us to. Alright, we're looking a bit peakish again here, which isn't great. So we're going to buckle down on more infantry here to defend Moscow. We lost these spots, which was pretty well expected. Absolute manslaughter here out of Bulgaria, which was just devastating. And we also ended up losing our forces up here in Archangel. We might be able to make a decent run back for some of that if we take some pretty drastic moves. So down here in Kaukas, we had a lot of ground casualties, but we were able to fend off the attack, which overall was quite nice. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to get 3 additional infantry to put out of here. We're going to get an additional fighter and then 2 additional bombers. And that's going to be all we do, units-wise. Alright, so in terms of what we're doing here, it's still going to be pretty ugly. I don't have the manpower to take on what's going over here in Ukraine and Bulgaria. But what we can do is we can blitz one of my tanks through West Russia and Belarusia to get some IPC units back there. We're going to push back into Archangel with 10 of our 7 infantry, this additional tank, this plane, all the planes or all the fighters from Kaukas, and a few of my bombers. The rest, well, and by a few I mean 1 from down here in India and 1 from here in Kaukas. The other 4 bombers we're going to send back into Germany to deal some more damage to their industrial complex, because we've just got to keep putting a thorn and a hindrance in their side to keep them from full retaliation here. Alright, let's see if we get any attacks coming in from there. We get 2. That's not great. So that leaves us with 2 attacks onto their industrial complex, which gets them down to 10 units they have to spend to build that back up. So overall not a super fruitful run, but it's better than nothing. Now up here in Archangel, this is where things could get really hairy and scary. Hopefully we can take them all out on the first go around, and we do get 2 hits out of this, so that's 5 less that I need to worry about from this crew. And that's going to be 4 more, which leaves us with only 1 left to come from the bombers. Do we get it? No, we don't. I'm tempted to fire both of you. And as far as returned hits that we're taking, it's just 3. So I can accept that. Let's keep going, because we've just got to get 1 more of you guys down, and we're bound to do it with the numbers we have here. Good on you, infantry. That is what I was hoping to see. And no returning fire on this second round. So that gets us Archangel back. Which is quite nice. So let's go ahead and land some bombers back here, some more bombers over here, and then that's about all we can do. I'm gonna land 2 of these guys in West Russia to prevent people from just blitzing through. Then we'll go ahead and move both of these guys up. And that's about all I can do at this point in time. I've got aircraft here that I need to land, so let's land them all back down here in Kaukas as well. Alright, so we've got 8 infantry coming in here, 3 infantry coming in here, a fighter also being built out of here, and then 2 more bombers out of Calcutta. And I'm mildly terrified about what the US is going to do with this staggering amount of tanks here, but we'll find out. Oh, this is getting hairier and scarier as we keep going. Kaukas nearly fell. We were able to hold that off, but we took some heavy casualties. All of our ground forces out, and all of our fighters out of here as well, which is devastating. So, yeah, that's not great. What we're going to need to do on this turn is we've got to make some pushback here in West Russia. That we should be able to retake fairly easy. But let's go ahead and get us a bunch of infantry to put out of Moscow. Down here I'm going to spawn some infantry as well. I'm going to get 2. I'm going to have to rebuild some of my Air Force. So there'll be 2 more there, and then 1 more from here. And you know what? I think I'm going to get a tank to build out down here as well. And I know I could buy another infantry, but I don't want to walk them all the way up from India, so I'm going to bank it. Alright, so from a combat standpoint, we've got some bombing raids back here in Berlin. Again, hoping to stunt the US's onslaught as they continue to roll out across here. We've also got some infantry coming in from Moscow and from Archangel to fight off the tanks here in West Russia. We're also flying these bombers in from Calcutta to help with that war as well. So let's go ahead and get this bombing raid underway, and hopefully we don't lose too many of our bombers here. And no bombers lost, so that's great. Let's go ahead and get our attack rolls in, and that is some hefty numbers that I'm happy to see, because that is 17 IPC worth of damage onto that factory. So that's going to stunt a decent amount there. So let's go ahead and take on these tanks. I'm hoping for at least 1 hit from my infantry here. It's probably not going to happen, but odds are 1 out of 6. Hey, we've got a 1 here, so that means that 1 of them hit. Now I need you guys to do your job. I know you're brand new, but let's get a hit here. Thank you. That was exactly what I needed. And no returning fire from the tanks, which is glorious. Right, we're going to land these bombers in Russia. We're going to land these bombers in Caucasus. Going to move these 2 up here. That gets them on equal ground with where the rest of the guys are at. And then these guys are not in any immediate danger, so I'm going to pull 9 of them down here into Caucasus. And that's going to be all we do there. Now for mobilizing troops, we're going to put 8 of these guys here, 2 of them here, 2 of these guys here, and then the rest are going to come out of Calcutta. And that's going to be where we call it for today's episode. A lot of back and forth, and we're really just fighting over this stretch of land at this point. Honestly, I'm surprised that the US hasn't made a gutsy move out here in the Pacific, as there's literally nothing going on over here. But I know that this is where most of the attention and fighting is happening at this point, so it kind of makes sense, I suppose. Well, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Don't be afraid to leave a like on the video, and subscribe if you're not. We are 1 subscriber, at least at the time of this recording, we are 1 subscriber away from hitting 75, which is awesome, and I really appreciate you guys for sticking around and watching the content that I'm putting out for you, as I'm enjoying it quite a bit as well. Well, thanks again, and you have yourself a fantastic rest of your day.